Hello YouTube, this is ChardarYuGiOh here with a deck profile. I know that this was kind of overshadowed by the sneak peek, but I did go to locals Saturday. I was kind of bored with my Herald deck, so I decided to run a Dark World deck. So I ended up winning first place with this, which really surprised me. I was not expecting it to do that good, but I'm going to go ahead and show you the deck profile. 3 Grapha, Staple, 3 Snow, Staple, 3 Brow, then 2 Beige. It's a target for discarding, lets me synchro, Ixies, that kind of stuff. 1 gold, 1 silver. I want to run 2 silver. I didn't have 2 silver, so I ended up with that. So now for the not Dark World monsters, Morphing Jar. I know, this card is bad in the deck, but, you know, I kind of needed the draw power, because before I put it in, I ended up with a lot of entirely dead hands, and you know, it took some setup, but I was able to generally get more pluses off it than my opponent. I know it's not consistent, but I don't have the tour guides for the build, so I basically had to run the Morphing Jar. Then Neospacian Grand Mole, I saw some Dark World decks teching this. I tested it out myself. I really liked it. Gives them an out to Synchro Ixies. It's an out to a lot of stuff. It's really annoying for your opponent too. Then 1 Raven. Fabled Raven, another discard out, gives me access to Synchros. And this is a card I was just personally testing in it. I played it on Dueling Network, I tested it against some friends. But I wanted to try it in a somewhat competitive environment, so I just tested out Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning. And I have to say, this was amazing. I know that the only actual light monster in the main deck is Raven, but I had enough in the extra deck and side deck that this was never dead for me, and it was devastating when I summoned it. So that is the monsters. On to the spells. 3 gates, 3 dealings. I didn't run drag down. I don't really like drag down so much. I just don't. That's kind of preference, but I ran 3 dealings. I only have 1 Dark World Mirror match, and you can actually watch how that went. So, 3 Upstart Goblin. Again, I'm not running tour guides. I need to power through this deck as fast as possible. Just some additional draw power, card destruction, and Allure of Darkness. Discard outlet and more draw power. Foolish Burial. Put either Grapha in the grave to summon it, or I can use this to put Raven in the grave if I draw the Blackluster Soldier to make a Blackluster Soldier play. Then Staples, 2 MST. Back row hurts this deck more than it hurts the Herald, so I'm running 2. Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, and Monster Reborn. Now onto the traps. 2 Mind Crush, Trap Dust Shoot. Dust Shoot staple, and the Crush Shoot combo is really good, and it's especially good in Dark Worlds because you can use Mind Crush as a discard outlet. I don't recommend it, but it's pretty good. Then 2 Warning and Judgment, because you kind of have to run those. So that's Spell and Traps. The extra deck was Fortress Dragon, in case I ran Desire Dragon. I was expecting to, I didn't, but oh well. Number 17, Leviathan Dragon, and number 39, Utopia, are the only Ixies I ran, because they're really the only Ixies I have. Utopia was really good. I could get that with Snow and Beige, and it gets me another light for Blackluster Soldier. Then Magical Android. Generic level 5, in case I already used Cataster. And it's another light for Blackluster Soldier, Allied Justice Caster. I wasn't actually expecting to get this. I traded for this before the tournament, so I generally use that over Magical Android, but I'm really glad I had the Android. Then Gaia Knight and Orient Dragon. Gaia Knight is my beater, Orient Dragon is my synchro removal. I didn't use either of them, but it's comforting knowing that they're there. Ancient Fairy, level 7, it's a wall, it's good against field spell decks. And it's another light. Black Rose Dragon, staple. Scrap Archfiend. I never really liked this card until I started using it in my scrap deck, and now I've been putting it in everything because it's the highest attack for a generic level 7 synchro. So you never know when you're just going to want that little extra attack power, and it is a fiend, so it can get its attack boosted by the gates. Stardust Dragon. Level 8, that's probably the easiest level to go into in Dark World, and Stardust is staple. Black Winged Dragon, like the Fortress Dragon, I just did this in case I went up against a burn deck. So I didn't use it. I very rarely use it, but so long as I have the space, I don't see any reason not to. Scrap Dragon. Scrap Dragon was amazing for me because I can actually pop the Grapha, then summon the Grapha back the next turn, and just keep doing that for some pretty hefty destruction with some pretty big beaters. Then Trishula. It's very, very hard to make Trishula in Dark Worlds. I've done it once, but still you have to run Trishula. Then Decisive Armor, in case we went up against Agents, which I actually did not play Agents, so I was very surprised. But I've been main decking Decisive Armor because I have the space and it destroys Agents. Now, side deck. 2 Thunder King Ryo. I sided into these every single game. They're more light monsters. These things have never let me down. There's no reason not to side them. 2 Spirit Reaper. I only use these once, but they're good for hand control and just a stall in case you're going up against a big heavy attack deck. 3 Light Imprisoning Mirror for the Agent deck that I never got to play. 3 Quarantine for the Agent deck that I never got to play. We've had a lot of Agents at our locals. I was really expecting to go up against them, but for whatever reason I didn't. Deck Devi and Dark World Lightning. I wasn't sure what else I wanted to decide, so I just threw these into to complete the 15. Dark World Lightning I figured would be good against Gravekeepers or Lightsworn or decks that set a lot. And Deck Devi, I went in, this takes out Agents and a lot of other low attack decks, so really no reason not to use it. And then 2 System Down and Torrential. I was maining Torrential, then I wanted to fit in some extra space, so I just decided to side it. I went into it every game though. I'm going to try to main deck it again, but I'm also going to try to main deck the Ryos, just because they did so good for me. So that is my Dark World deck. It won me first place at locals. Comment, let me know what you think of it, anything I can do to make it better, and peace out, YouTube.